Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, right here on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, it's the end of May. Literally, the end of May. Summer is here, and it's that time of the year where we feel like we're wrapping everything up with school sports and championships and postseason and some of the major sports as well. It just feels like a really good time to be a sports fan right now.
Man, dude, I'm telling you what, we've got so much going on, and especially, you just throw a dart, pick a sport. It doesn't matter. It's all happening. I mean, it doesn't matter. What a diversification, and we're right in the mix of it. Of course, we'll bring up a little bit later. You're on track with one of your favorite picks here lately, but, a lot to do with Arkansas and all the championships going around, and, man, we've got some. Well, we're on a streak right now, Mark.
We are. We've been very, very good at predicting state championship winners in our KVRE listening area. And Tracy, no surprise, we hit it again. Benton Lady Panthers softball recently took down Sheridan in the Class 5A final at UCA. 11-4, they got the job done, earning the school's fourth championship in 5 years, including that big three-peat from 21 to 23, the seventh in program history for Benton. They surged into the finals with one of the best records in the state, 31-2. They took the lead early against the Yellow Jackets, and they never looked back. Joining us on this week's show is the head coach of those state champion Benton Lady Panthers, the legendary Coach Heidi Cox. Coach, welcome to the program. I'll start with a big question here for you. Are we ready to call this a dynasty yet?
Oh, goodness. I'm not sure on that, but I sure appreciate all the love that you're giving us, and just thank you for having me on. This is excellent.
Yeah, Coach. Well, I mean, obviously, hard work pays off. I know that this is a little bit of a cliche, but, I mean, I personally believe it to be real. Losing in last year's tournament, kind of disrupting that rhythm and breaking up championship here, it really seemed to add a chip to the shoulder of this team this season. How did that tough loss really fuel your run this year?
I think you're right. I mean, just absolutely personally for me too, and my coaching staff, we just really talked about it, and that was heartbreaking. We've been used to going deep into the playoffs, and just, oh man, it was something that was very humbling. It was something that was very heartbroken, for sure. And the mindset to come in the summer, continue to work and do what we normally do. The fall, we have an excellent all-season program ran by Coach Ray, who's our assistant football coach, and then Coach Murph, who gets to take care of our ninth graders that are coming in as well. And so, it's just a change. There were some things that we need to see and wanted to see, and then it just carried over into January when off season when we began and the end of October. And so we wanted some things to change. We just felt like internally we had to change and do some things different as well. And it paid off. I'm so proud of the girls. They came in and worked hard every day. They did exactly what we asked. And so, yeah, I definitely think it lit a fire under us for sure.
Coach, you talk, and speaking from the coaching standpoint, you got the freshmen coming up, sophomores and stuff, and you were talking about the coaching aspect of it and change. Is there a certain style of play that you like to coach, or did you add something, a little twist to it to maybe you think going into the postseason that it was going to, enhance your team and maybe, as far as getting them further down the line to the championship?
Well, I feel like we've continued to do I say physical, or the skill level, and nothing changed according to practice plans, but there were some internal things that we needed to change, and we really kind of focused on some mental game this year, and just mentally coming in and making sure that we took care of the person first, and I really think that carried over into the athlete as well. But I mean, it's always been that way, I guess you could say. We just, we care more for the player than the person more than the player. But there was a lot of mental stuff that we took care of as well this year, and just internally is, some different changes there. And I really think that it helped them grow as people as well. So.
And of course, Coach, once you get to this stage, and of course you've been to this stage many, many times already in your time at Benton, but when it comes into talking about championships and postseason play, sometimes it's the best team on paper that wins a championship. Sometimes it's the hottest team that wins a championship. In your case, it really feels like you were the best of both worlds. I'm a huge numbers guy. I love these numbers coming in. You won 17 straight games going into the final against Sheridan, including 9 shutouts, and you were outscoring opponents 169-19 during that streak.
Wow.
The pitching's there, the offense is there. It looks like the complete package. So, it's hard to look at the record, for the fans on the outside looking in, or maybe for the listeners that aren't as familiar with what you're doing at Benton. It's hard to look at the numbers and say, boy, they were really challenged this season. Oh, they didn't really face any kind of adversity this season. But take us behind those numbers. I assume that winning championships at Benton isn't just a walk in the park. And, what were some of the turning point moments from this season that really allowed your team to ascend the mountain this year?
Well, we ended up going into a different conference this year. We went into Central Conference and playing doubleheaders, and we're a little nervous with that. We had played in some doubleheaders in this Central Conference a couple of years ago, but we really had we had Elena Scott, Tuesday Mountain, and Alyssa Houston that were the force on the mound. And in utilizing 3 pitchers, you kind of felt at ease with that. Having Rexy come in, freshman year was a little tough and a little adjustment for her. You're not just 14 playing against 14-year-olds anymore when you're doing the travel league. It's you're playing 18-year-olds. It's a big difference. Her and London and Caroline Hicks last year had to utilize most of the innings on the mound. We ended up losing Caroline this year, and so Rexy was going to be one that carried us through a lot of innings. We knew that. London came in and did a great job, London Borough, and got numerous innings. And Bella Villanueva was just a surprise for us. We knew the talent she had, but she was able to come in and give us the second game in most of our conference games. Her and London took care of that and really gave us the ease we needed to give Rexy some rest as well. I really think that was big for us. But that conference, it was every Tuesday night. It was a gauntlet. And so I just feel like we played into the toughest conference. I try to schedule hard as much as I can in any of the non-conference games just to prepare us at the end to understand, win or lose any of those games, we're able to push at the end because those are your toughest matches. So, and at the end of the postseason, nobody's record matters anymore. Everybody is 0-0. You're coming out. People do get hot at the end of the year. And it's all about the heart, too. I mean, you don't want to lose, and so you're going to get everybody's best game.
And, of course, Coach, coming out this week as well, 3 members of your squad named to the 2025 All-State team. Congrats to Lydia and Rexy and Peyton. What do you want to say about those 3 young ladies specifically in terms of the leadership of what they brought and how deserving they are of receiving that elite honor?
Absolutely. I mean, when you go into these coachings, especially being the new guy coming in Central, didn't have to say much. I mean, they were so complimentary on every kid on my squad. And so that was just so awesome to see. Yes, skill level and absolutely that of what they were able to produce in numbers, but just the type of kids they are. I mean, every one of our kids was mentioned, the way that the atmosphere of the dugout, everything. And I just loved it. But there was no question asked. I mean, those 3 right there, it was awesome. I mean, to hear the coaching staff or the coaching carousel of our conference to talk about those 3 specifically that was awesome. Rexy did a phenomenal job this year. The growth she had from her freshman year to the sophomore year. Peyton Stewart coming in was just a huge asset to us. And I know I've said this before, and I said this earlier in an interview with Celine Courier. I mean, Peyton won strikes for Rex. And those 2 combinations were stellar. Lydia's just a gamer. She has been in this lineup for 4 years. Her freshman year, she got to play with a tremendous group that was going for the 3-peat, and so she was involved with that. And so it's just super. She got to play with the back-to-back staff and then also the 3-peat. So Lydia's got to experience 3 championships in her high school career, and I think that's pretty daggone special too. So I can't say enough about those 3. Those 3, we knew at any time if those 3 were to come across an injury, it would be very hard to replace. And that is just
I'm so fortunate. We are all so fortunate they were able to rock it out with no injuries and just finish strong for us.
Coach, obviously you got that, that target on your back now, as you have for some time now. How do you go down and how do you conduct your business with the underclassmen now, telling them the shoes that they got to fill? I mean, that's obviously makes them a little bit rattled, coming up. How do you go down there and tell them freshmen, look what you got to do and look what can happen if you work hard? How do you do that?
Absolutely. I think you just present it with the expectations of our program and the standard that we set, and we don't want anything less. We want to work for it. We want to continue to get better every day, just overall as an athlete, but as a person. I feel like there's so many things that sports can teach us, and it's just not basically based off skill level, but how to be a better teammate, how to be a better individual. And so that's our standard. That's what we want to continue as. Definitely going to have a target on our back. But it is so special. We've been there before to get to go back-to-back, so we'd like to achieve it with this group. Every group is so special, and you want each one of them to be able to experience those things. So hopefully we can get in here this summer in the weight room and take care of business and continue to come out and make each other better every day. I think that was a big difference of our practices this year. It was competitive every practice. You couldn't take a day off. So I think that makes a world of difference when you want to be able to push up big numbers.
Yeah, in order to be a champion, you have to work all year long. I know you mentioned the off-season and the off-season workouts. I assume that a softball coach's job is never done. Hopefully you get a little bit of time for rest and relaxation over the summer, though, before it's back to business, trying to defend your title next year. Now, Coach, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so I apologize for that, but, what's next for some of these athletes out there? Are there some of these girls that maybe we can share future plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Lydia Bethard, she's leaving us and going to go to Mississippi College. I'm super pleased for her. She's going to come in behind Shelby Samples. We've had several athletes that have gone that route, with Maddie Lancaster being there several years ago. But I'm super proud of her. Cameron Colclager is going to UCA. She is a UCA signing or commit right now, and so I just love it. She's going to get to continue her career there. I'm looking forward to her to having a spectacular senior season. I mean, she has done phenomenal for us. Started out a little rocky this year, just coming off of basketball, but once she got back in, she finished strong. She just so much growth in her mental game as well this year, and we got to see that and see her flourish, and that's awesome. We have several. Azzy Morrow and Peyton Stewart are still uncommitted right now. They're going to be seniors. They have a lot of prospects that are looking at them. I think that's really awesome. Our sophomore class was huge. Those kids will definitely start understanding the recruiting process, as you can say, as they begin their junior season with this travel ball. So I expect them to get many looks. I'm so proud of them. I mean, I just love the fact that they're wanting to continue their career, in the softball world. So it's awesome.
And of course, one of the things that I know that I love out of this program as well, I wear many hats, and another one of the hats that I wear is as sports information director at National Park College. So I'm very familiar with players in your program such as Aubrey Goodnight and Gracie Redmond and Sophia Meadows and their time at NPC. What I learned very, very quickly is that Benton breeds not only superstar athletes, but also superstar college students as well. Game changers, no matter where these young ladies go in their softball career, game changers in the classroom, game changers on the field. And that is a huge tip of the hat for everything that you're doing there at Benton.
No, I appreciate that. That is super special. Thank you for that.
Coach, I'm surprised I didn't hear anybody maybe going down to be a bowl weevil, but as it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, Aubrey Goodnight.
Yeah, that's right.
Aubrey Goodnight left MP there right now.
Okay. There you go. I was trying to round it out for you a little bit. How was in your career? How instrumental was Coach Early with helping you the way your coaching style?
What an emotional yes, absolutely. Kent, his son, is one of my big buddies, and we talk all the time, and especially throughout that spring season. I mean, I bounce ideas off of him, and he just keeps me calm I love Coach Early. He just was so special to me, and so, he loved us, and I could feel it, and I hope that I can continue that on through my kids, and that was one thing Kent said to me this last one, just made me feel so special that I love them, and they play for me like that, and you can see it. So I hope that I'm doing him justice, I can tell you that much. But he was super special.
I'm sure you are.
Coach, we've had such a great opportunity to chat and reminisce about the year, and we love to end our interviews with a reminiscing thought. So, if there was a special moment or a favorite memory on the field, off the field, on a bus ride, something that's always going to stick with you from this year's team, what is that?
Well, I sit there and I can't say enough about Coach Murphy and Coach Dorsey. They are just such a vital part of our program, and the love that they breed into our kids is just amazing. But we had that one of Coach Murphy's one of his friends had come to him and talked to him a little bit. They're Sheridan fans, and came up to him after the game and was like, "Man, y'all played phenomenal." But we sat there beside that dugout, and what made a difference? He told him, he's like, "Y'all's dugout we could hear them over Sheridan's dugout, and we were sitting right beside them." He goes, your kids make a difference. And, we try to preach that as much as we can, that everybody is valuable. 1 through 21, we have 2 excellent members, managers, but they make that dugout rock, and it just feeds into our kids, the excitement. We celebrate sack bunts. We make sure they come outside of the dugout and high-five them and give them. We celebrate those just as much as we celebrate a home run. We talk about sacrifice as much as we can throughout our program, and some of the most special awards that we can give at the end of the year are the ones that are voted on by their teammates, and just those are special. So everybody has a part. Everybody has a vital role. I feel like right now our teams are understanding that, and that's helping us be successful.
Obviously, it's working, and we once again appreciate you taking time out for us, and good luck to you and your other programs, of course, where you've been instrumental over at Benton, and of course, hopefully next year we're talking to you again, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Coach Heidi Cox of your 5A state champion Benton Lady Panthers. Much more to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition this week. Don't go anywhere. Back in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, for quarter 2 of this week's show, we're going to stay on the softball diamond here. Of course, really big news this year and a huge boon to the state of Arkansas and the program for the Arkansas Razorbacks. We now have the National Player of the Year, Bri Ellis. I think anybody could have saw this coming from about 3 miles away. What a fantastic athlete, taking home Player of the Year, SEC Player of the Year. I mean, this is a huge boost for this state and for softball here in Arkansas. Unfortunately, the Razorbacks season came to an end in the Fayetteville Super Regional, falling to Ole Miss 7-4 in that decisive Game 3, ending their dream run to the College World Series. The Razorbacks finished their campaign with a 44-14 overall record, making their 4th Super Regional appearance in program history. Their 44-win season was the most since 2022 and tied for the 3rd most in program history. Tracy, when it came down to it, health became an issue for this team going into this Super Regional. Illness struck the team, especially the pitching core, and just an inopportune time. The Bats couldn't keep up with that early Ole Miss lead in Game 3. A tough break for a tough team.
Yeah, and that was you're right. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, Mark, because they just couldn't. They obviously had to bring in their super freshman to pitch after she just done a complete game. And you could tell that the other team's bats caught up with them, and obviously a great year. But Mark, something like that can happen at any time, And of course, here's another thing too: they were pitching away from Bri the whole time. They never ever. They put her on, of course.
Got the Barry Bonds treatment.
That was the deal, man.
Oh, yes.
And so, obviously her slugging. And so when you don't get the pitch, is what I'm saying is your eye for the ball sort of goes down, because well, they're just going to walk me.
Yeah.
So her percentages went way down for, in the tournament. And obviously, she connected a couple of times, but didn't quite break that 26 home run barrier, which is still not too bad. But I'm going to tell you another thing, too, Mark. Not only in her post-game interview, but throughout the year, she was something special. Just the way she talked, she was very articulate. She was very well spoken. And obviously, I don't know what career she's going into, but I guarantee you, if she wanted to be an analyst or take your job, she may be available for. You might want to give her a call, Mark, to help you out with your softball championship stuff, man, because obviously the lady's very talented.
Yeah, absolutely. A bright future ahead for the senior. I know in the post-game interview, I know she said, well, I guess I got to go get a real job now.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not.
Okay. What do you got?
Maybe not. Tracy, there's some really big news coming out on Thursday. You may have missed it if you weren't paying attention. Major League Baseball announced on Thursday a strategic investment in the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, the AUSL, marking a first-of-its-kind comprehensive partnership with a women's professional sports league. All right, so what does that mean? In layman's terms, this appears to be a huge opening for professional level softball. Not just college as the last resort anymore. And now it's backed by the funding and support of Major League Baseball for softball players on the high school level and on the college level. Listen up, because this could be really big news. This new pro softball league launches its inaugural season with opening day coming up real soon, Saturday, June 7th, with games in Rosemont, Illinois, and Wichita, Kansas. The league will feature 24-game regular seasons featuring 4 teams to start: the Bandits, the Blaze, the Talons, and the Volts. The teams will tour across 10 major cities in the United States, culminating in a best 2 out of 3 championship. These games are going to be on the MLB Network, on MLB TV, and at least 30 games will exclusively be featured on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPNU. The AUSL has also announced its leadership team featuring experienced coaches and players in the sports, including big names like Kat Osterman, Kelly Kreshman, and Elisa Goler. And with the support of MLB and ESPN, the AUSL is poised to bring professional softball to a wider audience. Tracy, we talked about it a lot in these past few weeks. We're in this era right now where attention and viewership for women's professional sports is on the rise. And maybe you could even make the argument that it's at an all-time high right now. This could be a major first step in not only giving young ladies an avenue to continue playing the sport that they love after college, but also making it financially viable for them as well. Brie Ellis looking for a job? I know a league that would probably take her in with open arms right now. You kidding me? The player of the year? I'm really excited for the potential here.
Mark, the only name I didn't hear you saying that was Tom Hanks, okay? But as it is right now, he may be one of the, you never know, spokesperson for it coming out, okay? But we got to look at this. You're talking numbers. It just so happens starting off today and going for another week, we've got the World Championship, Women's Championship going on over at Oklahoma City. The numbers are out the roof.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. You've called games, series before. You know what it's all about. But yes, this is the time while the iron is hot. You're exactly right. Because, we started this off with the professional, basketballers and stuff with the Caitlin Clarks. Now we're over at softball. And yes, the snowball's ready to roll and make a big, big push in that direction because I think it's viable. The venues are already out there. The parks are ready to be loaded up. They're sitting idle during the summer, so why not get it going? I know ticket sales would go up. Obviously, this is a sport like you were talking about that's really growing on a lot. And just think about all the young ladies out there. Just like she was talking about, what do we do now? Well, now they've got something to do, whether it's playing or coaching. I think it's a great combination, bud.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity to lay the foundation. Of course, there's only 4 teams to start. Everybody's got to start somewhere. It's kind of in its infancy right now, but this could be the start of something really, really special. And I've had an opportunity to talk with a lot of people over the past couple of days about what this could mean for the sport going forward. Of course, we talk about the WNBA, just the regular season opener with Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark became the most watched WNBA game in history, more than any championship game, just based on the matchup between 2
rivals. They don't call themselves rivals. They'll actually be the first to tell you that they're not even rivals, but the American public has turned them into rivals because of great college seasons. But it's the perfect example of how elite college players can go on and continue to represent that sport in a meaningful way at a higher level. And Tracy, this might even be a really hot take, but I actually believe this to be true. I believe that if the AUSL continues to grow, I believe that professional softball, like a true professional softball league such as this, once it grows and gets established, could surpass the WNBA in terms of numbers easily, even with the Caitlin Clark effect in effect, because of how much passion there is for this sport. Softball as a whole has been underutilized, undervalued, underprivileged for so many years. So much great talent exists in this sport. And yeah, fine, bigger ball. And so, the bases aren't as far as baseball and the pitcher's mound is closer. You can give me all those arguments and then throw them out the window, because this is as competitive as a sport as anything out there in men's action as well. I'm really excited for what this could be going forward. And props to the MLB for giving the financial backing and lifting up women in this sport to allow them the opportunity to do great things and continue playing the game they love.
I think it's absolutely crazy that they haven't done it already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, of course, there's going to be some complications, just like any startup sports or anything of that matter. But if you look at the venues across the United States, not only just in college but in high school, people are building. People are appreciating it more. And obviously, this is going to take off. Just like you said, small at first. Let them work the kinks out. But I think eventually it'll build. The crescendo will be obviously a championship somewhere. And I think a venue that they'll be, whoever's going to host it, so to speak, is going to be one to really reap the rewards. Because if you think about it, I know the numbers that are in Oklahoma City this week. Can you imagine on the World Series of softball at the professional level what that's going to be? I mean, there's going to be mayors out there from every big city vying for that championship. And I guarantee you, give it a few more years and it will grow. I guarantee you, those ladies are already out there giving it everything they got, at the collegiate level. Make them pros, pay them the bucks. And let's get it going.
And what about a face for this sport, a face for this league? Well, the good news is that Bri Ellis is already in.
Boom.
She was drafted number 2 overall in the AUSL college draft. She'll now trade in her Razorback uniform for a Talons uniform, and she's there. So she's already in the league. She's set to go on opening day, June 7th. Not a big turnaround
wait
there.
A minute, what?
Yes.
Oh, golly.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
That would have been the biggest fumble in the world to not secure the player of the year.
Wow.
And I mean, you've seen her in interviews. You've seen how she conducts herself on the field. She is a great representative for the sport on the national stage. I'm really excited to see what Bri Ellis does next. So you guys, if you're a fan of Razorback softball, guess what? She is now a Talon, and you got to make sure you follow the Talons this year in the AUSL for softball.
What's closest to us? Where can we? I wonder where we'd be able to go see some. We're going to get a schedule on that, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. You're the numbers guy.
We'll have that. So
okay.
So opening day will be next week's show on Saturday, and we'll make sure to get that out there. I know that they're going to be playing in Rosemont, Illinois for the opening day on June 7th, and I know that they play like in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll get you the whole list.
We'll get the list
of dates. You may have to travel a little bit, but it's summer. What else are you going to do? Sit at home?
No, go on vacation and watch the Talons, of course.
All right, we've got more Diamond action coming your way for quarter number 3. Arkansas Razorbacks baseball is still trucking along. We'll give you all the details of the Fayetteville Regional when we come back right here on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE and online at kvre.com.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, we stay with the Diamond here for quarter number 3. The 2025 NCAA Division I Baseball Championship began yesterday, and the tournament looks as stacked as ever. Vanderbilt, which won the SEC tournament, is the number 1 overall seed. The rest of the top 8 national seeds are Texas at number 2, Arkansas at number 3, Auburn at 4, North Carolina at 5, LSU at 6, Georgia at 7, and Oregon State at 8. And if you're keeping track, yes, that means 6 SEC teams are in the top 8, and 13 teams overall from the SEC made the tournament a new record. The number 3 national seeded Razorbacks are already deep inside the Fayetteville Regional. The selection committee may have picked Arkansas as the 3rd best team heading into this weekend, but I'll have you know, Las Vegas has a different opinion on the Razorbacks. According to FanDuel, Arkansas has the best odds to win the College World Series. They're plus 470 favorites to hoist the trophy in June, with LSU, Vanderbilt, North Carolina, and Texas falling in behind them. So let's look at Arkansas. From arguably the outside looking in, the favorite to win the World Series. But fans in Arkansas know that you really have to take this one day at a time, one game at a time. Arkansas has been here before, but they've struggled once they got to the super regional stage, which they're currently not there yet. They know that to get to Omaha and the College World Series, it's an uphill battle, but this is not the worst draw nor the worst situation. The Razorbacks have to win the regional. Of course, Kansas, Creighton, and North Dakota State are all in Fayetteville this weekend vying for that title. And of course, the winner will host the super regional against the Knoxville regional winner, which we assume is going to be Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Even though you play against who you play against. Now, I'm not super worried about North Dakota State, but there are some opponents in here that you can't overlook, such as Creighton and Kansas. They've got a little bit more bite to their bark. Even though that they've won more conference games than anyone, the Jayhawks were not considered the regular season Big 12 champs, but they're sneaky good. They can hit the cover off the baseball. They've hit over 100 home runs this season. Creighton owns the Big East and gained a few big-time wins against high major teams along the way. You can't overlook anybody at this stage. Arkansas knows that better than anyone right now. But with MLB draft, pre-draft picks on the rise, I'm seeing some of the Alloy boys ranked very, very high in potential MLB draft picks. I think the latest projection that I saw had Vahiva Alloy going possibly 13th overall to the San Francisco Giants and ranked as the best shortstop in the draft. Of course, Gage Wood is highly touted as well, going high in the draft as well. I mean, Arkansas is right where it wants to be right now. So what's the secret? We all know that getting over the hump in the past couple of seasons has been difficult. They've got a pretty star-studded cast leading the way this year. What needs to be different this year, Tracy, in order for them to not only get out of the Fayetteville Regional, but to get out of the Fayetteville Super Regional? And let's get back to Omaha.
Well, the Omahogs, from my standpoint, and I'm going to get some mail on this, Mark, but our coaching has got to change a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm not saying a whole lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, the bats, when they're not going in our direction, the lineup, which I've seen him shift around a little bit. I've seen him shift it to where, to help out the Alloy brothers. There's no doubt about that, okay? Because you saw the slump. But, Mark, I've heard you say this too many times in the past. Who's hot and who's not?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the Hogs are not. So we've got to shift something. He changed his lineup, okay, for the last 2 weeks. He changed it up. If you saw, the Alloys weren't 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and he shifted it around a little bit, okay? Now then also, not only the batting lineup, but also the pitching, all right, the rotation. I don't know about sending your best guy out for, certain teams and such like that, but that rotation has got to change also. Obviously, it didn't work in the tournament. Now, they should be, since we were ousted so quick, they should all be rested. Coming out of the chute, obviously you're going to throw your best like yesterday, but here's it is. I think it's more important. We've got the pitching. There's no doubt. We got 10, 11, 12 pitchers back there.
Yeah, very deep.
Okay, we're so deep in that. But as far as the lineup, Mark, I think he needs to shift it back to what it was a month ago. You don't have to have your cleanup hitter your best hitter. You got to get guys on base. There's no doubt about that. And have those guys. And, of course, the one Lloyd was coming in as a DH. We know that. Get him in there earlier or get him shifted down. I haven't been coaching for 26 years or whatever it is. Okay, I'm not saying I've got the know-it-all for anything like that. But get back to that lineup that was 2 to 3 weeks ago that we beat the Tennessee Volunteers. We got the sweep and a couple of those other games. And like that last Sunday game that was so prevalent against LSU, because we're not hot right now. And if they don't do something with the lineup, something's definitely not going to work.
Well, there's been some inconsistency with the starting pitching. You don't have to live under a rock to know that here, but bullpen depth can be a massive advantage for this team here in the postseason. Arkansas has 8 relievers who have pitched more than 20 innings this year, boasting ERAs lower than 5. And that doesn't even include Parker Coyle, who's got a 2.0 record and a 1.59 ERA. He's only pitched 17 innings this season, but he's been the team's best reliever when healthy. One of the biggest downfalls, when you go back and look in hindsight and look in the rearview mirror and you talk about regret, Hagen Smith was one of the most elite pitchers we've seen come through this program. Of course, now he was drafted 5th overall. He's in the White Sox system. He's in the show. He's in the MLB. But one of the biggest regrets maybe was not going to the bullpen last year once Smith got tagged early for all those unearned runs out there. And playing from behind at this stage, just like Coach Cox said at the beginning of this show, you got to throw the records out. Everybody is 0-0 at this point. It doesn't matter what you did before. It's what you do now. So the Razorbacks have to be keen on watching. When the wheels start falling off the starting pitching, you've got to go to the bullpen. When you compare these teams head to head, apples to apples, you have to think that Arkansas might have the advantage. Of course, home field advantage means everything.
Ooh,
and
man.
I know that you can be like, but they've lost at home in the Super Regional.
I was just saying that.
So, but still, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't show up and not bring the energy. That's what this team needs, especially in times where if the wheels do happen to fall off, which we've seen every once in a while throughout the year, heart attack hogs. If the wheels start to fall off, they've got to know that the support is there. They need Bum Walker to be loud. They need to be loud and proud to deliver that energy. And the fan base, the challenge for the fan base, if you're listening right now, heading up to the hill, or maybe you're already up in the hill already, you've got to continue bringing the energy when there's situations when things aren't going your way. Because I can tell you right now, I've been around the game a very long time. The coaches can feel it. The players can feel it. They can sense when that energy is gone. When it dies in the stands, they feel that. So a challenge to the fan base as you're making your way to Fayetteville or getting ready for the games today, stay with that energy the entire way, whether you're up ahead or whether you have to battle back from behind, because that is what you can do. You can't go on the field and you can't swing a bat and you can't catch a ball, but that is one thing that you can do to try to drive this in your favor.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, even if 100 years ago I felt that playing, and when you hear the fans up in the stands, it just gives you a little bit extra incentive. I'm telling you that right now, Mark. You hit it right on the nose. Exactly. When you hear somebody getting after it, when you hear everybody doing the cheer, when you hear the hog call, you got to be loud, you got to be proud, and you got to let the guys playing that you're behind them 100%. But here's a positive note. Now, I know I gave a negative nanny a while ago, but here's my positive note. We've seen them come from behind. You know as well as I do at the Ole Miss game that we felt like they were going to come back. We felt that. And everybody else did too. And it just so happens they come up against a buzzsaw with that. That pitcher, he hadn't thrown like that all year long for Ole Miss. No, and it was just happened to be his day, which can happen in baseball at any given time. Well, guess what? It can happen for the Hogs also. But we can't have any mental errors either, though. You can see in your brain, everybody right now, ready? You saw the ball drop between the three guys in the right field. Okay, everybody knows to this day. But these kids, they were in grade school when that happened. They don't know. But they know what it feels like to be dumped early in a playoff situation. They felt it. Well, I think they're hungry, Mark. And everything, I know all the stars have to line up. We know that. But that has to happen for a lot of these teams. But they've got the best chance. You said Vegas a while ago. Well, guess what? I'm on board with Vegas right now. No, I haven't actually made a bet on it. I'm not into college. That'll be another issue down the road. But I think right now, you're right, Mark. The fans, they've got to get involved. They've got to really back these guys. There cannot be an empty seat. Everybody's got to be elbow to elbow in that place. And I want people out on the road cheering from out there. And I don't know. I may call the Goodyear blimp or something. I don't know. We need a lot of folks up there, Mark.
And look, I know that I'm probably delivering a lot of just a lot of caution with this. But here's the deal. We've been here before. We're very good at getting here. Mm-hmm. It's getting past here that we've struggled with in years past. And you go back to that infamous play that nobody likes to talk about. It almost feels like the beginning of a curse, right?
Feel that taste?
Look, if any team right now could break that curse, if that's what you want to call it, it's this team. Yeah, I know pitching has been suspect. Yeah, and I know sometimes the hitters have not gotten hot whenever they need to. The other thing to consider when you look at this regional bracket, how many other SEC teams are in this regional at Fayetteville? 0 outside of the Razorbacks. Now, we talked about at the top of the segment, 13 SEC teams in the tournament this year, the most ever. SEC is playing some really good baseball right now, Arkansas included, even with its ups and downs. Now, will we potentially see Tennessee and Arkansas in a super regional right there in Fayetteville? Yeah, that's what we're hoping for here. But Arkansas does tend to play a little bit better against non-SEC competition. So historically, that has been true on paper. We'll see if that resonates throughout this weekend. Look, nobody wants to win more than this team actually wants to win, right? I know the fan base is super hungry for it and passionate and dedicated. This team wants it too. And I believe that they're going to bounce forward in a huge way and take care of business here.
Mark, explain to the fans, okay, you just said Tennessee at Fayetteville. Explain to the fans why Tennessee will have to come to Fayetteville for the Super if they both win their regionals.
Yeah, that's just where it is on the schedule. So it was going to be it's going to be whoever wins out of this regional is going to host the winner of the Knoxville regional.
Okay. So, a lot of fans didn't understand that. I had calls on it the other day, and I was just trying to explain to them, you're the baseball guru, I understand. So I was just letting everybody know. Okay.
So good luck to the Razorbacks this weekend. We'll be cheering from you, whether you make it to the Hill or you're down here in Hot Springs. Hey, we're rooting for you guys. Get the job done. When we come back, a big game happening today in Hot Springs. Woo. We'll tell you more about how to be there for the opening night of the Wise Guys when we come back on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
It's the fourth quarter here on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. He's Tracy Simpson, and I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, we have been waiting for months for this day today. It is Saturday. It is May 31st, and it is football in May. The stadium will be rocking tonight at Bank OZK Arena as the Hot Springs Wise Guys open their inaugural season against the Eau Claire Axemen. Throw-off is at 8:05 p.m. tonight, and the game will be streamed live on YouTube at the Natural State Sports Network. But if you don't have your tickets yet to see the Wise Guys in action, they are still available. You can buy tickets online right now, starting at just $15 at hotspringswiseguys.com. Tracy, this is a historic event, super big for the city of Hot Springs. And if you've been following them on social media, you've seen them all around town getting ready, kissing babies and shaking hands and just getting their name out there, getting their face out there. This is the sporting event of the year happening tonight here in Hot Springs.
And excitement all around the region, of course. And I spoke with one of their big-time followers, actually, they're one of their contributors, Robert Raines of the Gangster Museum, and he's going to help sing the national anthem.
Okay.
I'm not going to give away too much of what's going on prior to that because it's the opening ceremonies, but if you want to see something really cool, I would be there for the opening tonight. I would just, because it is a really cool opening that they're going to have. And it may surprise you a little bit, but I'm just telling you, for the inauguration, this is really, really cool happening tonight. I promise you that.
It's a really big deal. And of course, things like this, sporting teams like this only last if you allow them to last. If you go out there and you support them and you financially back this team and go out there, just have a good time, bring the family. Tickets are still available. There are a lot of very affordable seats out there, and this is going to be some really good action as well. Hats off to the general manager, Chris Goodman, who had him on our show a couple weeks ago, Coach Bones Bagante, all the guys for turning this dream into a reality. And hey, just for the record out there, there are only 4 home games this season, starting with tonight. So we encourage you to get out there, check out this team in action, and let's pack the stadium and get loud and proud for Hot Springs team, the Hot Springs Wise Guys.
You know what? How about we do this, Mark? Why don't we do this now? And of course, in affiliation with that is the Gangster Museum. How about whoever gets the closest score?
Okay.
We want to give away 2 tickets to the Gangster Museum. You want to do that?
I think that's a great idea. So you can text us right now, 501-915-1300. First of all, you got to give us your name.
Yeah.
Okay, give us your name.
Please do that.
So many of the people that text us forget to tell us who they are. Tell us who you are. Tell us the score of the game. The Wise Guys are taking on the Axemen. Okay? Give us the score of the game. Closest one. Go see the legendary, historic Gangster Museum.
Now, speaking of scores, Mark, should we elaborate on how the scoring? I mean, they still get touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
They still make field goals. They still do extra points. It just may be a little quicker than what you're used to, okay?
Yeah, so I mean, like if you followed Fountain Lake or Cutter or Mountain Pine here on the high school level when they were doing 8-man football, it's very similar to that 8-man style of play. It's actually 7-on-7, which you typically see in your summer team camps and things like that. It's 7-on-7, and Chris actually broke it down pretty good. There's only really like one down lineman. Okay,
yeah, it's fast.
It's fast. There's going to be a lot of scoring. They're going to be trying to play defense. I mean, they're going to try to play defense out there, but it's all going to be, I would say, very pass heavy, very run heavy, a lot of offense, a lot of scoring. Should be a lot of fun as well. I mean, you're not going to go out there and see this just like, real slow paced. I just wish something would happen.
And you're going to be close down to, right there on the arena.
Yeah. And of course, it feels like every seat at Bank OZK is like the best seat in the house because you could be downfield level, pay a little bit more money, have closer seats. But honestly, having the higher up perspective is honestly not a bad move also because you get a better vantage point of all the action, and there's really not a bad seat in the house. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to be there. The kids are going to be there, ready to see it in action. It's a historic night for Hot Springs.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and once again, I encourage you to be there a little bit early for the big opening session. Trust me.
Don't show up late. Be
don't.
there early. Parking's going to be a thing. You want to make sure you get in and get a good seat. Hey, also something really big happening coming up for Hot Springs, coming up on June 16th. The Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation is hosting another free baseball and softball clinic at, guess where? Majestic Park in Hot Springs. I've already got my boys signed up.
Home away from home.
This is, guys, I'm telling you, if you've never checked one of these out, first of all, it's free. Everybody loves free things, right? All you have to do is go online. Majestic Park has the link available on its Facebook page right now, facebook.com/Majestic Park Baseball. I mean, my kids are still talking about last year's camp, and this year's camp is almost here. I mean, you have the opportunity for youngsters to meet Arkansas Travelers baseball players, who is the minor league affiliate of the Seattle Mariners, who, by the way, is leading the AL West in the MLB right now. You get to learn from MLB draft picks, skills, and drills on the historic Majestic Park fields. You get to take a swing on the same field as former greats like Babe Ruth and learn from current pros, skills and drills. You can bring your glove if you like, but they've got everything that you need. They've got bats, they've got balls, they've got gloves, they have all the equipment needed to participate. You just got got to show up, and it's a basic skill drill clinic introducing youngsters to baseball and softball. It's open to boys and girls ages 6 to 14. And I mean, the players, they stay after and they'll play pickup baseball with you. They'll sign autographs and there were posters. My kids got free travelers tickets, which was almost worth it in itself for the free event. I'm telling you, if your kids, they don't even have to be baseball pros. If they've never touched the game in their life, I guarantee they will love the game after participating in one of these clinics. Shout outs to Lance Restum, the real MVP with the Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation. What a huge asset this is to growing the game in our community.
No doubt about that. And please just come on out and have fun with it, and come on out and enjoy the surroundings. There's nothing like it in the world. Hey, Mark, a big congratulations going to Lake Hamilton Track and Field and Cross Country Senior Xander Woodward. He put pen to paper at Wolf Arena. Now he's going to be taking his talents to Southern Arkansas University. He's going to be a mule rider.
He is going to be a mule rider, and boy, what a great program that they have as well. Once again, text us for those tickets to the Gangster Museum with your Score of the Wise Guys game, 501-915-1300. That's our show.
Man, don't forget to put your name again, right, Mark? They always do that, right?
Please put your name, because we have a hard time, we don't know who you are. That's our show. We're here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. right here on 92.9 KVRE and on iHeartRadio. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. We'll catch you next week.
Fourth quarter, game over.